be like that today. What's up, buddy? Where are you going, Butterscotch? See if we can get this thing lined up right for the shot here. Maybe that's good. Well, welcome back, guys, to Ted Davies Artistry. I've been thinking a lot about digital detoxing and what exactly I'm using in my business and what I am not using in my business. And when it boils down to it, really what I've come up with is that I do a lot of things that are in analog format. They're not in digital. I use a lot of different tools to do that, to build a business, and we're going to be talking about that today. And we're going to see how that might imply some avenues for you to use in your creative business. And let's get nostalgic. Yeah, so welcome back to Ted Davies Artistry. It's been a little bit. I've been ill. I had some type of viral infection. I don't know. We did a free comic book day down at Coy's Comics in Saginaw, Michigan, about a week and a half ago, and it was a huge success. A lot of people, and it was great. And we got to do a lot of drawings and a lot of sketches for people, and it was a lot of fun. And just that weekend, I met, thousands of people, and it was pretty crazy. So I don't know if I picked up something there or what, but the doctor said they really couldn't do anything for me. So, the whole painful, couldn't talk, painful throat, the whole thing. So, but I'm back. Thank you for being patient. Today I wanted to talk about on the podcast. A couple weeks ago, I suggested that we look at the analog and digital sides of business and what I do. I think what I wanted to do today is I'm going to shift it a little bit, because I think that like a lot of us, whether you're a new creative, young creative, I should say, or a seasoned creative like myself, we have different experiences, right? So in those experiences, I think that we might have a commonality. So let me talk a little bit about what nostalgically what I remember, because I've been thinking a lot about this digital detox movement, and I think it's been a healthy thing for me. I don't know if you recently saw, I have been off of Facebook for quite some time now. I took last month on my birthday month, I ended up taking Facebook off my phone, and it's been a revelation. And I still have Instagram. I'm massively happy with Substack and, of course, YouTube. You guys wouldn't be here. Obviously, thank you for being patrons of my Substack and being paid subscribers. I appreciate it greatly. But when I was looking back, going through, in my life, when did analog and digital collide, What was my experience? And I went back to my grade school. And for a lot of us in the 80s, I had a luxury, I guess, because we had a computer lab in 1984, 83, 84, which, looking back on it now, was pretty revolutionary for its time. At least I think. Apple IIes had just come out. Our school ended up investing in a huge movement towards this new age of personal computers. And it was, it was floppy disks, the big ones, it was Logos, I think it was the software that we were using. And we had to create a digital pattern from this little tiny turtle cursor. And it was basically, we were coding. We were taking codes and we were creating this mathematical equation to create a mandala, if you want to call it that, or some type of design on a green screen, basically on a green, not a green screen from like the background, but a green screen on a monitor. And they were small monitors, nothing like this behind me. I mean, they were small. And if you do remember it, then kudos, you had a good childhood. But that's, I think, when the first of the digital and analog collided for me. Because the one room that we had at school was digital computers. It was all about the computer lab, quote unquote. The room right next door, we had manual typewriters and we had typing class. So we were doing this pseudo, I don't know, time traveling, if you want to call it that. We would go into, before we would go into the computer lab, we would go to typing class. And typing class was, the computers were set up the same way the typewriters were technically. I guess the keyboards were. But, you went from this analog typewriter, these literally manual ones from 1950s, 40s, to this digital age in a matter of minutes. And it was great, really, when I look back on it. It was really kind of very smart that they did it that way. I didn't really understand it probably until now. Then I've been thinking back. That happens as you get older. I mean, nostalgia is a funny thing. As you get older, you're looking back on history and events that had happened, that you lived through, that either you want to attach yourself to again or not. And it really, it was very impactful for me, looking back on it now. Now, I'm not saying that this digital detox that I'm working with right now is completely, I'm off of digital. I think that's a crazy way to do it, because I think that you're losing the point of it. My actions for doing this are mainly to reduce my anxiety and my stress. I look at thinking mindfully versus aimlessly just going through digital scrolling, and whether it's Instagram or whatever. I've caught myself numerous times just scrolling. You doom scroll and you don't even realize that you're doing it. Since I've been off of Facebook, I kept Messenger on because I've got a lot of people that contact me through that, and I think that that's okay because I'm still curating. Instagram's kind of it's a double-edged sword. I have a lot of business with Instagram, so I think that social media is extremely toxic, and it can be very aggressive. Any of them can be, if you don't curate it properly, and I've talked about that in other videos. But for me, the detox has been really good. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, I think that, most of you know, if you've been following me for some time, I'm a traditional watercolor artist. I should say illustrator, because I do all kinds of comic books and ethereal work and that. So I guess I'm not a traditional in that sense, but as far as media, I work with watercolors, pen and ink, on paper. And then I enhance it somewhat digitally later if I need to meet certain formats and that kind of thing for books and what have you. But, what I do is pencil to paper. I was that way drafting in architecture. I've been that way since day one. a lot of this is, you see the stack of notebooks here and sketch pads. A lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. My whole existence when it comes to writing is pen to paper. Notebooks are a huge thing. These little tiny notebooks here, these are gold. You get 3 of them for $1, I think, at either Walmart or Dollar General. These things are absolutely fantastic because I'm a list creator. I check things off. I do that daily, and it's a practice. And I think that when people look at their lives and going through and just checklisting and going through their daily list, it really does help, at least the way I think, the way my mind works. When I write, you guys know that I use moleskins, or I'll tell you what, here's been something else that I've been doing. I've been going to Walmart and I've been buying these $1 composition books for years. These things turn into some amazing tools for me. This right here is we've been working on for quite a while. This is a retrieve script that has been we have been working on it for several years now. That I'm happy to say is ready to rock and roll now, and it's been a labor of love. But these for $1, what you can create and keep and write and build from these simple tools, like I said, I think it's probably, when we were younger, trapper keepers were a big thing. I don't know if you remember when you went to school, and that when we would go every year, and to get the trapper keeper was like a big deal. And I remember, notebooks or notebooks that you could put in the trapper keeper, and just the whole excitement of having the tactile media, I think it was just awesome. It was just a great time to really be part of, I don't know, the age. I know I'm sounding very nostalgic here, but writing is a tool, though, from just manually going from pen to paper. Your brain works differently. I know in digital formats, I don't have that. I don't retain the same when I do notes or note taking on a laptop or my phone or anything. I don't have that same interaction. There's a connection point where that pen meets the paper, and I can identify. I can remember. There's the retention of it is just, it's amazing. It really is amazing. I don't know if you have that. If you do have that same experience, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to correspond with you that way. Yeah, so this has been these, I can't say enough about moleskins and that, or just in general. You don't have to get a moleskin. I'm just using it as a general term. Or these composition books. They're just, for $1, they're definitely worth it. I buy that for $1. I don't know if you remember that from RoboCop. Again, I'm dating myself. Some of these, one of the books that I just picked up, the sketchbook, another analog way of recording. I got this from Koi's Comics in Saginaw. I've been working on different, just, I don't know if you can see it or not, but different photo work, or not photo work, but a landscape, in a portrait format, but in a landscape, just watercolors, just quick doodles. I'm going to be doing this, some plein air stuff, because we're here on the lake. I want to go out to the beach and just kind of take that in. And sometimes note-taking is, for me, sketching, because I think visually constantly. But these are really nice. Anything that you can pick up like this, I forget now. This is called a watercolor field journal, and they run about 13 bucks. Very good quality, though. Fantastic. Koi's Comics, Saginaw, check out what they're doing, because they got some really, really good products. One thing that I have done that's really worked for me forever is a journal. Not a journal, but a calendar journal. Writing things down, keeping my monthly activities of what's happening just daily, but writing it down. I've gotten some flack from people because I don't use Google Calendar or whatever, but For me, it works. These analog tools that I've used for years, and I'm not saying you can't grow and you can't be more technical, tech savvy, but I think that you've got to find, what works for you. For me, it's this type of format. You guys know that I do sketchbooks on YouTube and on Substack and all that on Instagram. I do a ton of sketching on these little tiny dollar sketch pads, and they're priceless, because you can do, I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views thanks to you guys, that have been just well received from everybody. Thank you for all of you that tune in for those. Off of $1 sketchbook that has, 80 pages or whatever, so you figure, do the math on that. And then I get some other, heavier gauge media papers, and that I do a lot of different things with these type of higher grade sketchbooks. But it's all about note taking. It's about, for me, it's been really, my journals have been amazing too. What I have done is, besides the sketchbooks, I've done some other, some of these are pencil sketchbooks too, and these are a little bit nicer, and I take more of my time with these. But what I've done, what I've really found that it's really worked out, whoops, as I drop the pencil, or my pen, one of the biggest things that I've been doing is keeping a commonplace book. And I don't know if you know what a commonplace book is, but look it up, and it is awesome. I've done not just journaling. I have a standard journal that I pretty much every day I journal in. But again, this is my practice on the analog media side. If the power goes out, I still have a pen and paper or a pencil and paper. I can still write. I can still do things. If the laptop dies, which one of them did, the one I used to broadcast with, and I'm working on an older system now, you've got to pivot, right? I've talked about that in my podcast many times. Pivoting is super, super important. These commonplace journals, where you keep quotes and you write them down, or you read, and what I've done is I take notes when I read, and that's a whole nother level of learning when it comes to and retaining information. This commonplace book, with the quotes that I've gone through, or the proverbs, or the things that I really want to remember, I remember them this way. Because in digital format, I don't recall it. I don't have the same experience with it. And it's unfortunate, but I'm learning about it, because there's been a lot of things I've done digitally that I don't remember the note taking or anything of that sort. But in a commonplace book, it's a whole nother ball game. Really enjoy this practice, this technique of recalling information, and just going back and looking daily of what I've written down. Journaling is so important anyway. I think health-wise, mental health, journaling has been one of the most profound things that I've found that works for me. Just to get the anxiety, to get the understanding of my thoughts, which is a scary thing. But you see where you're at in life when you go back, because you can go back methodically. You can go through and really see what you were thinking and how you progressed. Comic book is a great tool, though, for remembering proverbs and just the general things that you want to recall. I think that they're paramount to a good, just a good, healthy journaling practice. Yeah. These ones here, like I said, the smaller ones, the smaller journals, whether you buy them at Dollar General, or whatever it is. I mean, these are I think they're 99 cents for 3 of them. Crazy value. I bought this one. This set I haven't opened them yet, but they've got multicolor ones at Walmart. They're a little bit thicker, come with more pages, but they were $1.12 for 3 of them. Super, super good. And these I use daily. I take them with me. They're my everyday carry. And they fit in the back pocket or in a shirt pocket, and they're great. I love these. I've really become so attached to these. I know attachment's not good, but yeah, it's been great. But as far as analog, the way I look at analog now, I look at analog as my main, I guess my main tool that I use in business, because I script things by writing. It's kind of my first draft. So when I write an idea down, I'll usually take a book like this, or I have an idea book. Let's say I take a book like this, and once I've got the ideas down, actually, let me. I have what they call a brainstorming book. And my brainstorming book is not like a commonplace book. This is like when I have ideas for a story or a drawing or something, I'll write this down real quick in this book. Then if that story starts taking flight a bit, then I get into a full composition book. Now this is when I write in the composition books, this is kind of my first draft. And I'll fill this book up with the full story. And it's daunting sometimes. 80 pages though. And these are inexpensive. You don't have to get a $100 journal in order to do these. This is $1 or whatever it is, $1.25 at Walmart. I get those down, and each story I have is basically a book. I've already got it in book form in my mind. First draft, huge. All right, the first draft. Then it goes to digital. Then I start typing it out. Then I use my Google Docs, or I use my Trembly or what have you for script writing, or what have you. You find what works for you, if it's Word or whatever you decide that you're going to be using. But they have to kind of marry. I think that analog and digital in this world, you can be mindful. It's your choice what you want to do with your experience. You know, if you want to be mindful and take your time with it and really think it out, I think pen to paper is the way to do it. And I think that low tech is the best tech. I write notes of books that I've been reading for years. I'll go through all these books. Fortunately, I've got a very good library that's growing. And I've looked at mindfully changing my, the way that I retain information by note-taking while I'm reading those books. And not necessarily, I don't ruin the book. I don't highlight or anything like that like I used to do in college. I consider books hollow ground in a lot of cases. So I try to use it so that I'm thinking about the other person next time, that if I decide to gift it to someone or sell it or whatever. But when note-taking, you know, in a format book, or in a moleskin or whatever you decide to do, even the smaller books, even the small notebook like this, I mean, you can do notes on that are pretty easy to recall. And there's something with I don't know if it's a frontal cortex or what, but there's a connection point when you start writing that they've done studies on, that actually your brain is working at a very heightened capacity at that point in time. So keep that in mind. If you're getting older and you want to sharpen your mind, your mental clarity in that's a really good way to do it. I found that it's really opened up a lot of just memory recall for me. It's been great. So now, digital is a whole nother story, and we'll get to that on the next podcast. So if you stayed with me this long, thank you. I want you to do things that are going to be inspiring for you. I hope this is inspiring. I want you to be able to take notes if you want to. You find your way of doing it, because I want you to be creative. I want you to be able to get inspired and to get to the point where you're feeling like you're making a difference, because you are. You are totally. And I appreciate you. You're worthy of what you're doing, and you're making the world better. So thank you for being part of Ted's Tribe. Thank you for being part of this podcast. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. I will be talking a little bit about digital formats, what I use in comparison to once I get these things from the analog written down media to the digital formats. It's going to be good. It'll be a good one. Thank you for sticking with me, and we will talk to you soon. No envy, no fear, and much success.